Happy Derby Day. Hey friends, so welcome back to my channel. It's Tech Planners and Plot Twists, starting fresh in my 50s. Today we're going to do something a little bit different, but it's super fun and very Kentucky of me. We're decorating my Hobonichi for Derby Day. So for Derby, think hats and horses and roses and bourbon and some planner magic. Derby is basically our unofficial state holiday here in Kentucky, and more especially in Louisville. So whether you're into the horses or the fashion or an excuse to drink bourbon, it's a celebration, and it always is every year. So for this spread, I went through the scraps I had collected from one of my magazines I had that is published in Louisville. And I had torn out a lot of the pages, and this has been several years ago, but I wanted to use them for this spread. So I have the one little piece that talks about Louisville. And of course I have my racing horses, and then that is the mint julep. So mint julep is a bourbon drink that is sold at Churchill Downs during Derby and any other time, but it's the known drink for the Derby celebration. And then I had a neat, I thought, picture of a horse, and so I wanted to keep that and use that as part of my backdrop. Normally, I'd probably keep a little more free space in this spread, but I really didn't do much this year for Derby. So I decided I was going to use my time for fun and make this spread. So as you can see, I've got some bourbon barrels. So if you're in Kentucky, you know that bourbon is the drink here in Kentucky. And my husband is pretty crazy about it. So I finally developed a taste for bourbon. And that's something that we enjoy together. I also have a picture of one of the iconic buildings in Louisville. It came out of that magazine, and I thought it would look very nice as part of my spread. I'm doing this both over Saturday and Sunday for the days. And then I had chosen some different pictures cut out of magazines of flowers, because the nice thing about Derby is it's right during the part of spring where we have a lot of flowers blooming. And here around Louisville, it's kind of known that you don't really plant any of your annual flowers or any of your special floral arrangements out in your yard until after Derby Day. Then I had a couple other just pieces from that Louisville magazine, and I decided to piece them all together. So I had a couple pieces that showed the mint julep, and I had a couple pieces that showed the race. So I was trying to figure out what I wanted to use. I also had some nice pictures of historic homes, and this one is actually a historic home, and it even has some interior pictures, and that's from Louisville. And then I did find another one, and this home is the Wooldridge place, and it's actually in Pewee Valley, which is outside of Louisville, but it is a historic home as well. I ended up not using those pictures of the homes. I kind of got, my space filled up with all of my Derby things, so I'm going to hold on to them and use them later. I have at times gone downtown and stayed in some of the bed and breakfasts downtown in Old Louisville. If you have not done that, it is absolutely something that you should do. They even have like some bourbon tours that leave from that area. So if you haven't been to Louisville, one of the things that you really need to see is Old Louisville, where they have those historic homes. A lot of them are actually built by people who were in the industry, in the bourbon industry and in the tobacco industry. I had this picture. It was a planner. It was in that bright pink. So it matched, my picture with my horse. But since today I decided, for Derby, I was going to do this spread, I went ahead and added that as well. This is just to remind me of some of the things that I did. And then I'm putting down one of those horse racing pictures. So I was doing all of this before the Derby ran during the afternoon. A lot of times, if you're a local Louisvillian, you'll go to Derby parties or different Derby celebrations. We just happened not to do one today. We had a lot of work to do around the house. So we decided to make this a less celebratory day. So there I am taking one of the mint julep cups, and I'm putting the tape on that. When you go to Churchill Downs for the Derby, they always have specific Derby glasses, and there are 4, like this year was 152, and a lot of people collect the Derby glasses from year to year. And for the Sunday day, I'm just adding more of my Louisville pictures. As I said, I had another picture of that race, but I think I will be using that somewhere else. Or it could just stay until next year. So that's more of my mint juleps, and then here is my bourbon. Everybody has to enjoy bourbon on Derby Day. And for us, you know, we were staying home and doing chores, but we decided we were going to celebrate a little bit. So at the time of the Derby, we did a toast with bourbon. We had some Stag Junior, and I recommend it. It was a very good bourbon. I found some other florals. In Louisville, you know that the day before Derby is Oaks Day, and that is usually everyone wears pink because it's in honor of breast cancer awareness. And then on Derby, it tends to be roses, and of course the garland of roses is always made out of all of the red roses. They usually make it at a local Kroger's, so you can go by and see it being made, which is actually very cool. So I was looking through, I don't have a lot of horse stickers. So I found these stickers that had what looked like horses, but are kind of like pink zebra horses. And then in here, I was looking to see if I could find any of those red roses, which I didn't, but I did find some white ones. This is one of those sticker books. It has a lot of like really neat pieces. So I keep it up here in my desk so that I can use it. But it really didn't have anything else in it that I needed to use for this spread. So speaking of bourbon, are any of you all bourbon drinkers? Around Louisville, it is a crazy thing. There are a lot of collectors, and they will really go out of their way to find some of these more rare or older bourbons. We've been on a couple tours of bourbon distilleries. And if you ever come in this direction, you should go to Bardstown, because Bardstown has a couple beautiful breweries as well. So this was a Happy Planner sticker book. I got it not that long ago, but it was on sale. So I know I didn't need any new stickers, you guys, but this one was really cute. Had all these little things. So I found one of them was a little piece of washi. So I decided I wanted to use that sticker since I was using my Hobonichi today. And usually I have washi in my Hobonichi, although I didn't today. So I was just trying to find if there was anything else I wanted to add, just kind of for memory. But then I got caught up in looking at how many cute stickers. It has little pens and pencils. It had this little pencil bag, and it was the same pink as my little planner that I was using, so I had to add that one. See how cute? And then I was looking for anything else that kind of went with Derby as well. So they had these little binder clips, which I use a ton of. really in my day-to-day work, but in this as well. And so I added it there. I had bought some new binder clips, and I'm now using them to hold my pages in place. I don't need them as much right now, but I'm sure I'm going to need them as time goes on and my Hobonichi gets fatter. So Derby is always the first Saturday in May. Usually it's pretty sunny, so I added a pair of sunglasses, although this time it was a little bit cool and cloudy. It wasn't too bad. I think it was in the 50s, but we've had years where it's actually snowed. So, and people always have their beautiful Derby hats. So as I went through, I was like, oh, I think I'm going to need a Derby hat. If you watch it on TV, you will see, so many beautiful designer hats. So I was just looking through this Happy Planner booklet. It has a lot of, they're nice petite little stickers. I think they're going to go well just for using in my planner. Believe it or not, I actually have a planner for planning as well as having this one that kind of is more of a journal. I've had some of these stickers that have a lot of things, books, and like that one has a globe. So I liked those. Since I decided that I was going to try and think about some of my writing today, I also added this really cute typewriter. Very cute. And then I was having a little trouble deciding where I was going to put it. And then I had another where a girl is reading, which of course is always my hobby to do as well. So she's going there right next to the mint julep. Maybe she'll have a bourbon later. And then I decided to put some of these horse type stickers. As you can tell, they kind of look like pink horses. But it ended up being kind of interesting because the winner that we ended up with, the trainer for our Kentucky Derby winner this year is a woman, and it was the first time that we had a woman trainer who won in the Kentucky Derby, so that was very exciting. So I ended up kind of liking the pink horses. And then I just added some greenery around. So I was looking through to see if they had anything else. This is an unusual sticker book. I think it's been like clearanced, but it has a lot of those kind of neat colors in it. And I just chose a couple that I liked to put on here. And then I was just trying to look to see if I had anything else that I wanted to add that reminded me of Derby Day. And then something that's totally not Derby was the hedgehog, but he was so cute, I decided to put him on here. I don't know about you all. Do you ever just add something just for fun? I mean, I guess that's part of being an artist. You can just put what you want. But I decided I thought he was really cute, and I would put him down by the bourbon barrels. And they also had some little mushrooms. And of course, I usually have a bird somewhere on one of my spreads. So this is a little bird. So my camera sometimes does a little jump when I hold things up close. but I'm filming this on my phone, which is the Galaxy Fold 7. It has a really good, camera, so this is kind of what it looked like when I got finished. I've just got a mixture of all different things that will remind me of the day. Some Derby pictures, some Louisville pictures, some bourbon pictures. Thanks so much for hanging out with me, and cheers.